How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Jose, aka TheNYCGeek, aka TNG, aka your Elder Lord, aka the one who will set the throne today, aka your tribal chief, the OTC, aka the guy who, first off, before we go into the video, I want to apologize, little channel stuff. I am working with a new microphone, so I apologize for any audio issues, any echo, any of that crappiness. Please let me know. I apologize. I'm working on getting the boom arm for this microphone over the weekend. And then we will hopefully, I can lean back a little bit, have the microphone a little closer to me. I have some acoustic paneling and some stuff here to help muffle in some of the echo, but this room is a lot larger than it looks like. I'm also going to be redoing the back. You can see that there's some books over here on my well, to your left. This old shelf right there popped broken just from the weight of my D&D book. So we're going to be redoing this entire room. And while I do, I'll keep in mind echoes and acoustics while we're trying to redesign everything. Let's get on to this video because this is, oh man, this is what I have dreaded more than anything all year. I cannot express in words how much I hate Rings of Power. This is the most hated project out in Hollywood right now. For yours truly. I know for many others, especially because how dear Tolkien's works are to us, how it helped define us. And Rings of Power season 1 was a disaster. There is no way Amazon could disguise that. They might try to say that, yeah, we're going to call it a success, but even they themselves have, the show media has turned on them. At least they turned on them briefly. I guess the checks came back in and everybody decided to come back. But I watched the first episode. I know that 3 episodes have dropped. 3 episodes of this shit, season 2, have dropped. I could only stomach watching 1 episode at a time. So I'm going to watch 1 episode. Tomorrow I'll work on recording another episode. And then we'll have another one on Sunday. Because I'm recording this as of Thursday right now. This is awful, guys. This show, I'm going to say this as nicely as possible. This show is like the idiot's guide to Tolkien. That's what it feels like. It feels like the idiot's guide to Tolkien. It's not written well, okay? It has no respect for the actual lore, just like the Acolyte, right? But here's the thing, and briefly, let me touch on that. There's a reason why I think that this show is even worse than the Acolyte. First off, it's more money spent into it, right? But Star Wars does not hold any place in my heart anywhere near as much as, The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, all of Tolkien's works. This has a much higher fall from grace than Disney Star Wars, which has been already in the landfill, okay? Rings of Power was such a colossal failure that I can't, and you might think, well, can it get worse? Yes, it can. It can. It absolutely can. But this show, that's why to me, even though the Acolyte had no respect for the actual lore, this is even worse. This is infinitely worse. This show is shot poorly. The costumes are garbage. Some of the robes look nice in this episode, I'll say that. But last season, we saw the horrible Númenórean armor. The characters are horrendously stupid. They are stupid. And this feels worse than actual fan fiction because just by the implication, the very implication of that name, right? Of me calling it fan fiction, you have to be a fan to actually write the fiction. And the people who wrote this, it was not written by fans. So this feels worse than fan fiction. It feels like an intentional slight on Tolkien's work. And I know that others have mentioned that this is for Bezos like a vanity project because he wanted his Game of Thrones. He wanted his own version of Game of Thrones. Let me tell you, wow, pride comes before the fall because if this is a vanity project, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should not feel proud because this is horrendous. Season 1 was bad and we're already off to a shitty start with season 2. And Galadriel, right? We have to call her Galadriel because she's not Galadriel. She's not actually Galadriel. She's not nothing. She's nothing like the character that Tolkien wrote of. This cheap knockoff Temu version of Galadriel, you know, is without a doubt one of the most stupid characters I have ever seen written in media. And I'm talking about video games, in any form of media. I'm talking about video games, anime, television, novels. Galadriel is easily up there in the list of the biggest morons out there. We're gonna get into the episode. If you know, listen, if you don't want any spoilers, I don't know why you would want to subject yourselves to this show. But if you want to avoid spoilers, this is your warning right now, because we're gonna do a breakdown. I'm not gonna go through every goddamn scene with this show, with this episode. One, it is torture enough. Can I, before we even get into it, can I tell you, I was struggling to watch this. I have Liza P in the background. Fantastic game. Thanks, Yojita, for gifting it to me. I was struggling to get through this episode because, first off, I have a great game that I'm playing, right? So I'm forcing myself. I'm like, all right, let me get to this last Stargazer. That's like the save points in Liza P. And I'm like, let me watch like 20 minutes. And I watched 20 minutes. And then I was like, all right, I got to go play a little bit more Liza P. I need to recharge my batteries. It was like when I was watching The Acolyte, right? But at least for The Acolyte, let me give it this. At least The Acolyte was like 25 minutes of shit. This show, you feel every minute of its runtime. Every goddamn minute of this hour and, what is it? Hour and 12 or something minutes of it. Holy crap. It's there. And then I don't know what are we supposed to get? 8 episodes? I don't know how I don't know how Gary from Neurotic or Shad or any of them are going to put themselves through 3 hours of this show. In one shot? In one shot? Hell no, man. I'd have to have shots. But let's get to the episode. So again, spoiler warning for anyone who's very interested. I'm going to be highlighting scenes, going through my notes over here, and we'll talk about this. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had it on the wrong browser. So we're starting off with, of course, this show is just full of remember berries, right? That was what season 1 was all about. It was about remember the movies? Remember the movies that were actually better products than this? That's all Rings of Power was, right? Just even repurposing dialogue. Well, they do the same thing here. Immediately they start off, we're going to show you Sauron, so we have to show you his helmet. Remember the helmet that he wears in the movie? And they are trying to make Sauron into this sympathetic character. I don't know. The same with the Orcs. This whole first, I kid you not, this is 20 minutes. It is 20 minutes of trying to give Sauron a backstory. And it's him talking to Adar and the Orcs and trying to convince them that now that Morgoth's gone, we're gonna unify Middle Earth. This is the fundamental problem with these awful writers, okay? These writers who want to portray evil characters in a sympathetic light. They did this with The Acolyte. They tried to do this with The Acolyte, right? They don't understand that, the reason that they don't understand how good and evil works is because the people who write this are generally amoral people. Hollywood writers are the worst of the worst because Hollywood is full of garbage degenerates. These people don't understand how good and evil works. That's why they struggled in portraying it in The Acolyte. It's why they had Osha commit evil acts and make you want to, but they're telling you sympathize with her, right? You know, you're gonna root for her, right? Like, no, you're not rooting for the villain. It's not like in Darth Vader, or Homelander, you might find these villains like, oh man, they're intriguing, they're nuanced, they're cool characters, but they're still bad guys and you still actively are gonna root against them, right? No, Osha doesn't have that. And the same thing with Sauron in this, especially Sauron, who's not supposed to have redeeming qualities. They can't grasp that. So of course they're gonna think, oh yeah, Sauron, this is a character that we can make the audience feel like they're gonna sympathize for them. Like the Joker, they want to make their own versions with Sauron, the Joker, all these other villains. Like even, I'll go as far back as Maleficent. I hate them taking villains and trying to give them sympathetic backstories. Sometimes evil people are just evil. Sometimes that's just it. And they want to put their stamp on it. They want to make it be their own. So, of course, they're going to try to put this with Sauron. For God's sake, they were showing interviews with people saying, oh, this is going to be what? The Walter White. We're going to make Sauron. Season 2 is going to be Sauron's Walter White, his descent into being a villain. What the hell are you talking about, Amazon? Stop it. You're drunk. Go home. Go home. Anyway, he's talking to the orcs, and the orcs give him a good old Caesar. Adar stabs him with the crown, and Sauron starts fighting them off, and they just stab him to death. And then he does this move. Look at this. I'm going to put it to here. I'll put this scene on so y'all can see this, right? Because this was in the trailer. He kicks Sauron, right? To be like, are you dead? Sauron's been stabbed like a kabillion times in this scene. He's been stabbed a ton of times. And of course, I got to pause here. I got to stop here and there. He kicks him. Sauron screams and casts the biggest frost nova you've ever seen in your life. He casts frost nova and freezes. Okay, let me make it clear. Let's make it very clear, everybody. He's cast a spell that is so powerful, it has altered fundamentally the environment that they're in. This was a green scenic area with a moving river, with a little creek here, right? He has cast a spell that has frozen the land itself. He changed the goddamn weather. It is a frozen wasteland now, right? But once again, just like with Galadriel standing in front of a fucking pyroclastic flow with a volcano, everyone's fine. Everyone's fine because these spells don't affect mortal beings. Do you know how cold that would have to be? And mind you, I tell you that no one's affected, right? Because this guy Adar gets up. The orcs get up like it's nothing. This dude just cast a frost nova that froze this entire region. He has fundamentally changed the environment, just like when they erupted the volcano with water, and yet somehow Galadriel stood there and nothing happened to her when this pyroclastic flow engulfed her. And the same thing, Adar was point blank in that magic blast zone, and he's okay. He's okay. It's fine. It's okay. We get eventually Sauron becomes the Venom symbiote. Y'all saw this in the trailer more accurately. I think of it more. Some people say he's become the symbiote. I think he's more because look, he's gonna eat the rat, right? I think it's more like Rimuru from the anime. That time that I got reincarnated as a slime, because he just starts eating everybody and starts getting stronger. The first season of this series was an absolute disaster, right? And we spent the first 20 minutes. Look, I'm going to speed it up right there. You spend the first 20 something minutes of this show getting Sauron's shitty backstory. A backstory that's not canon. In no way, shape, or form is this canon. This has never happened in the books. This is this trash adaptation. And he meets up with this old man after he's become Halbrand, right? This old man just starts spouting gibberish because this show doesn't know how to do dialogue. And let me give you I forgot to put the subtitles. I apologize. Okay, this I got it to right where he got. I got it to right where I wanted it to be. So the old man starts saying, he says this line right here. I was like, what the fuck is this old man talking about? A grim reminder. Okay, here we go. Or a hopeful one. Yeah, come on. Tell me about he says a short path may crumble. If it's a short path, why is it crumbling? A short path wouldn't crumble, right? And then he goes, a short path may crumble, but there's always another. often it can lead us someplace better. What the hell is this man talking about? What gibberish is coming out of him? And then later they're on the boat and he tells Halbrand's having nightmares. I guess he's getting, because Sauron's, you're supposed to sympathize with Sauron. And he tells him, you're alive. You're alive because you have chosen good. What are you talking about? What good has Sauron chosen? What are we seeing? I don't know why they're attempting to make this into a redemption story for the Dark Lord Sauron. The most, yes, Morgoth is infinitely Morgoth is supposed to be in the devil, right? He's supposed to be the devil. And yet we get more exposure of Sauron in the story because he's the main villain of the actual Lord of the Rings saga. And I guess essentially The Hobbit as well. So we get more time with Sauron. Not that he's on screen or in the pages. My point being that we've had Sauron as more of an exposure of a villain in Tolkien's work, in his most popular works. Why or where have you ever been given an impression that Sauron is supposed to be a sympathetic character? And it just goes to the scene where the creature, that shark creature, attacks and destroys the ship. And I guess Sauron has like conquering King Haki because he looks at this Leviathan and the damn thing runs away. So I guess maybe he went to One Piece and it just, I don't know what the hell's happening here, man. And he meets with Galadriel. Let's just skip off. We're having another, that was what, 20 something minutes before we actually got the damn show, the title. 22 minutes of Sauron being portrayed as a character who's betrayed by the orcs, and you're supposed to feel bad for the Dark Lord Sauron. Okay, sure. Anyway, we get to, let me just fix my notes here. We get to Galadriel running because Elrond had taken the rings from her. He's like, dude, he's taking the rings. And wisely so. Mind you, you're telling me that I don't even know where to begin with this scene. Galadriel shows up. And Gil-galad is like, dude, what is happening? What's going on here? What is it? What's these rings? What is going on? You know, you've chosen to hide the identity from Celebrimbor. Can you just tell us? And she tries her absolute best to not tell them that Halbrand is Sauron. Why would Galadriel keep this a secret? And you're telling me that Galadriel, who has been hunting Sauron forever, right? She believed him to be ultra evil. She was manipulated and deceived by him. And yet she believes that the rings that he wanted to create would save the race of elves. Why? Because the plot needs it. And then when she does tell them that Halbrand is Sauron, the king still wants the rings. It truly feels like the only one who has a brain cell here is Elrond. And that's because they've ruined the creation of the elven rings. They fucked it all up. And it's just a back and forth. This actress is awful. Like, she just keeps dancing around it. And even, I will say that Gil-galad even says, why do you dance around it? Just say who it is. Like, just say it. Stop trying to be dramatic. But she's just such a stupid character. And Gil-galad, knowing this, is still like, let me get the rings. I don't know. Maybe I was unable to shut off my brain. Maybe I was unable to shut off my brain during season 1. Because I cannot understand why all of it, what it was about Mithril and what it was about the elves that somehow these rings are supposed to save them. This tree is dropping leaves like it's the rose from Beauty and the Beast. None of it makes sense. None of this makes sense. None of it. And I want to give you something that is a really annoying scene right here. They go between talking in Elvish to each other, right? They talk in, he's like, give me the goddamn rings. And it just, they hold on, I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here because I'm so frustrated. It's only the first episode I'm this annoyed. They keep bouncing back between Elvish and Common. And I made a note to myself about how dumb this is because I want to compare it to a specific scene from Lord of the Rings. Okay? There's a specific scene, go look it up on YouTube. When Elrond and Arwen are talking and Elrond is trying to tell her, hey, it's time for you to go. You know, the last ships are leaving, go on, you have to get out of here. When Elrond first appears on that scene, he talks to her in Elvish, right? He talks to her in Elvish because they are talking in their native tongue. They would talk in their native tongue when they're talking to each other, right? And he's talking about Valinor and the ships are leaving. But she responds to him in Common. He tells him that she has made her choice. And that choice of her changing her language to Common is deliberate. It's the film, it's the creators of the film showing you that she has chosen to turn away from her own kind to be with the man she loves, who is mortal. And when Elrond starts to speak to her of the bitterness of mortality, of how Aragorn will die, he also starts to speak to her in Common, right? Because once again, they're talking about humanity, mortality. So it makes sense. But then when he comes, like, you know, and she's having that moment where she's envisioning the future that he's talking about. But when he comes back and he sits down on the bed next to her and he asks her, do I not also have your love? It's back in Elvish. And she responds back to him, you have my love, Father. It's in Elvish. It makes sense. When they switch their languages, they go back. When they switch languages from Elvish to English or Common back to Elvish, it all makes sense within the flow and narrative of the story, of the dialogue. In itself, you can see how not only are you being told a story by the words that they're speaking, but in what language their words are being spoken. It's not the same in here, where they would have no reason to be talking in Common to each other, and they half the time don't stick to Common. They go back to Sindarin, then they go back to Common when they're talking about the elves. So it's not even like they're trying to do what I just said of like, hey, maybe when they talk about Halbrand, they would talk about them in Common. No, sometimes they just talk to each other in Elvish at random words. So and it's just this back and forth with, and Elrond decides to run away, but it's just this back and forth between the two of them. Just, this actress is horrible. She is not as, I will say this, she is not as bad as Amanda Stenberg, but goddamn, she is pretty bad. She is very bad. He goes over, he jumps off the cliff, he sees him, he pulls a fucking Sherlock Holmes and jumps off the goddamn waterfall. And this is Adar. He's sitting in his new land of Mordor, and he sees Halbrand, right? He sees Halbrand, and he doesn't ask him at all, like, hey, what was that thing you said in the barn about me asking if I remembered who you are? Nope, doesn't bring that back up at all. Not at all. He's just like, oh, you're back. You're stupid, and you came back. And like, Sauron's big plan is to let him. His big plan is to go back to Adar and tell him that Sauron has shown back up. I know where it's going. He's trying to manipulate Adar to think that Sauron is working with the elves somehow. He's deceived them and he's working with the elves so that Adar can attack the elves. I get it. But it probably would have been a lot smarter if Sauron didn't just throw himself at the mercy of Adar and hope that, man, I hope this guy just doesn't whack me this doesn't kill me. But this is just them talking, and then we go back to Ghetto Gandalf. Ghetto Gandalf is having he's having a dream. And I need to stop on this scene right here. I'm going to see if I can get it for you. I'll try. Touches the staff, okay? And I'm going to try to do this without Amazon losing its mind with me. Because I saw something here and I'm like, all right, is this what I think it is? Is this supposed to be Saruman? Hold on, let me make it big. Is this supposed to be Saruman? Is this motherfucker supposed to be Saruman? Is this ghetto ass dude supposed to be Saruman? And is this supposed to be the eye? Hold on. Right here. Nope. Hold on. I gotta pause it right at the right spot. There we go. Is this supposed to be the eye of Sauron? It looks like it's lava. It could be, but I'm thinking that it's supposed to be the eye of Sauron. And it looked at the very end like it could be just them showing like a pit of lava, like a pit of magma. But clearly it's supposed to be another recall of, remember Sauron? The eye of Sauron? Remember? Dude, this show. Ghetto Gandalf is over here and he's with the least, can we say the least interesting characters of this show? Because Galadriel is easily the worst characters on this show. But Galadriel and anything involving Galadriel and Sauron, anything involving those two characters together is the absolute worst. But here, this is the least interesting for me. I don't think anyone cares or anyone has said that the Harfoots is their favorite storyline from Rings of Power, if you have a favorite storyline. And they've been wandering the desert, and she just tells him, hey, can you break this? Can you try to summon us some fruit? So he does his magic because Ghetto Gandalf doesn't really know how to use magic very well. And she's excited because she's laughing. She's legit laughing because he broke the tree. And there's a bunch of goddamn beetles in there. There's a bunch of beetles in there. And she's like, dude, we're going to eat forever. We're going to eat. We're going to, and to me, my stomach is churning at this, right? This is like fucking Timon and Pumbaa when Simba when they lift up the log and they're eating the bugs. And we're supposed to, that's a kid's movie. Are we supposed to be ecstatic about them eating beetles? Dude, I know when you're starving, I guess you'll eat stuff. You'll eat anything. And the Harfoots are disgusting. The Harfoots are disgusting creatures, right? Like, she is ecstatic at the fact that they're going to be cooking these bugs. And then she says the grossest thing. She says one of the sickest fucking lines I've heard, right? Well, let me see if I can get to that line. I probably can. It's probably in the middle of it. But she talks about how it's so good. Oh, here it is. Here it is. He eats it. He bites it. And she's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, you like them bugs, right? These disgusting fucking beetles. Because we're Harfoots and we're fucking gross. And he's like, I can feel the legs in the throat. And this girl says, that's the best part. That's the best part. They're dancing. Ew, man, dude, what the fuck is with this goddamn show? This is fucking gross and fucking stupid. Are we supposed to think back of like Merry and Pippin and Sam eating together and then be like, but what about second breakfast? Are we supposed to recall that like jovial scene and think of it here? Especially when she starts talking about her and Poppy used to sing little buggy songs so they'd have music to dance to when they're sliding down their throat. Dude, this is some gross ass shit. If I was a super conspiracy theorist person, I would legit be like, is this Amazon being like, or the New World Order being like, you will have nothing, you will eat bugs and you will enjoy it? Is this like some subliminal messaging being put in here? But it's fucking gross. And they have a CGI warg here. Let me see if I can pull a picture, if I can get it again. Yeah, it's right here. Halbrand's getting tortured. Halbrand's getting tortured, and he calls this warg over to him, and the creature growling. Just call it a warg. Why are you calling it creature growling? This shit looks terrible. I cannot show you as well. I'm hoping it'll. This looks horrendous. We're just coming back. We're coming off of the CGI of House of the Dragon that has less of a budget than this series. Has less of a budget than this series. It has more episodes. And it is infinitely better in all regards, including the CGI for the dragons. This looks like shit. This looks like this reminds me of the dog from the first Ghostbusters. The hounds, that's what it reminds me of. This is some garbage ass CGI. Some trash CGI. We get to Elrond. He's gone to, I can't remember the gentleman's name. It's the wisest of the elves. He's the shipwright. He's like the oldest among them, and Elrond's explaining to Matt. Damn, man, I'm good. Master, I'm gonna butcher this dude's name. Círdan, Master Círdan, and Elrond is presenting the ring to him, and he's like, "Dude, you're the oldest of our kind. I want you to take these away because I fear the power that Sauron has either instilled in these rings, or that what it will do to our people either way." And you get that. And at one point, Galadriel, has, because again, this show is so about like shitty dialogue, right? She talks to Gil-galad because they're like, yo, we gotta find this dude. Like, we still have not found him. We still need to. He's sending a letter to Celebrimbor, that Halbrand is Sauron. Even though Galadriel could have just said that. She could have just said it herself, but again, because the plot needs it to, she decides to make the stupidest decision ever because of the plot. The only reason that Galadriel does not tell Elrond and Celebrimbor the moment that they are crafting the rings, before they're even making the rings, the moment that she finds it out in the first season, it makes sense that her character would immediately tell them, hey, this is Sauron, the ancient enemy of our people, the enemy that I've been following forever. And she doesn't tell them because it's for the plot's sake. That is bad storytelling. It is bad storytelling. It is the same reason, it's the same bad storytelling that in The Acolyte, Soul doesn't just tell May and Osha, hey, your mom was trying to kill you. Your mom turned into a smoke demon, was trying to kill your sister, and I tried to stop her, especially when she force controlled Indira's Padawan, okay? So it's because the plot needs it to. And they're acting like Celebrimbor is some master smith when this master smith didn't even know how alloys work, how metal works. So how much of a goddamn great smith can he be? This is a constant problem with this show. It is telling you Celebrimbor is a master smith. It is not showing you he is a master smith. And I don't know why the High King would trust Galadriel, period. He says, the only reason I do is because I know that you hate Sauron. Because of you, we have he's constantly telling her, because of you, we have no choice but to test the virtue of the rings. Why do you have to test the virtue of the rings? Why? You know already that these rings were possibly created with deceptive intentions. This is the same Galadriel who disobeyed his orders. She disobeyed his orders. He effectively exiled her to Valinor, and she abandoned that. Who helped Halbrand And her argument is, I did what I thought was right, as if that somehow absolves her of all the stupidity, of all the stupid shit she has done. And we're just going to skip ahead. Elrond gave the rings to Master Círdan, and he sails off. And because this show is, you know, because they have to do these remember berries, because we have bootleg Frodo with Nori, we have to have bootleg Sam with Poppy, who followed after. This show, again, this is the idiot's guide to Tolkien. If for some reason you are unable to understand his novels, if for some reason you are unable to understand the movies that were based off his novels, if for some reason you can't understand that, you have this series because you are an idiot and you need something this stupid to explain to you a shitty version of Tolkien's works. That's what it boils down to. And I'm sorry if that's mean. I don't care. I don't care, because this Amazon has put out this travesty, and people, there are shills out there who will suck it up and they will tell you this is a masterpiece. It will live on in TV history. This is the greatest thing they've ever seen. They have no integrity, and there are idiots who are there slopping it up. Oh my God. Yeah, this is. Look, I'm gonna get past it. Adar escaped. Adar lets Halbrand go. Adar lets Halbrand go, and we're gonna get to the very last scene here because I'm so sick of this. It's giving me a headache. The rings, the ship guy. It has only been a few scenes. It's only been a few scenes, and the ship guy just comes back. He's just like, yeah, I'm back. They didn't even wait like an hour. They didn't even wait an episode to stretch out that drama, to put out that tease there. It's just right there. Oh, nope, it's over. And I put a note to myself, right? Can someone please explain to me this scene right here? They all put the rings on. They put the rings on, and they put the rings on. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me, I forgot to put the video. They put the rings on. All three, the Círdan, Gil-galad, and Galadriel each put on a ring. They each put on a ring. You see the sky is all gloomy, and then they put it on, and then the sky starts to become all golden, and they look at the tree, and it starts to bloom again. Can someone please explain to me, are they Planeteers? Is this like Earth, Wind, Fire, Heart? Did they somehow, well, I forgot water, Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Heart. Did they summon Captain Planet, and that's why the goddamn tree is coming to life again, and it is blooming, and the elves are restored once more? That's how the show ends. It ends with them staring at each other, and Elrond is looking at her like you're a dumbass. Elrond might be the only one here with a brain cell. There was no dwarves in this episode, no dwarves, and Celebrimbor, Halbrand comes back. That's what it ends with. Celebrimbor is as stupid as he is. He's still a fucking idiot, and Halbrand comes back. I'm done. I don't want to give the show any longer than that. This was the first episode. I will stomach the next episode, and I will put myself through this for y'all. Not watch this garbage. This is shit. This is not even this is not Lord of the Rings. This is not the Silmarillion. This is nothing. This is not fan fiction. This is piss poor fantasy. We will call it that. It is generically bad fantasy because none of this is Lord of the Rings. None of this is Tolkien's work. And this abomination does not deserve your time. I am watching it so that I can mock it, so that I can hopefully save you an hour, 10 hours, however much together these 8 episodes will be. I hope and I pray it's just 8 episodes. It's got to be just 8 episodes. Don't watch this. You want good fantasy? You want great fantasy? Go watch House of the Dragon. Go watch House of the Dragon. You want Just, you want something better than this? Go to Home Depot, buy some paint, literally stroke it across the wall and watch that. It is more stimulating than this piece of garbage. Ooh, sorry that I had a big yawn. I apologize. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here. I struggled to watch this show, not to watch this episode not only twice, but to muster up the energy to break it down. But I hope you guys appreciate it. As always, guys, please hit the buttons, hit the like button, hit the comment, hit the dislike button, hit the share, whatever. Hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment down below. Please, guys, do not waste your time with this show. If you did, tell me what you thought. Give me your thoughts here. Be honest with me. If you're enjoying it, hey, I know I've been shitting on it, right? And I'm shitting on the people who enjoy this. Let me clarify. If you enjoy this, there's nothing wrong with enjoying it. You can enjoy this. It's the people who sit here and defend it and call it a masterpiece and think it's fantastic writing. That's who I have a bone to pick with. Those are the people who I think are stupid beyond belief and can't get anything more than just, it's the Lord of the Rings and it's got the rings in it. Those are the people who I can't stand. They're the reason why garbage like this is produced. The only consolation we could take is that I'm sure this season will be as much of a disaster as that first one was. So anyway, as always, guys, please take care of yourselves. I will watch the next episode tomorrow and I'll record it. And again, I do apologize for any audio issues. I'm so sorry about that. I hope that it wasn't too bad. I'll try to fix it in post and in editing. You guys, please take care of yourselves out there and stay safe.